Welcome. Hi. Good morning. Okay, good. You can hear me? Yeah? If not, let me know and I'll lean over a little. Okay? So welcome to our first annual GDG LA DevFest event. We're going to be doing this annually. Thank you all for coming. Give yourselves a big round of applause. So before we begin, I want to give a big thanks to our sponsors. The logos you see up here have helped us put this event together through money, through swag, through venue, all sorts of stuff, emotional support, you name it. So thank you to all of our sponsors. A little housekeeping. We have power, but not where you're sitting. So we have a lot of extension cords. We'll try to put some out around, probably along the exterior walls, which means that you might need to just take breaks from where you're sitting every once in a while, charge, come back, that type of thing. We have 2 breakout rooms as well, and a hackathon area, and there's power in those areas too. So throughout the day, you should be able to stay charged. But if not, just use your heads and remember stuff. Restrooms, really important. So we are at this end of the building. The restrooms are the exact opposite. So caddy corner, kitty corner, however you prefer to say it, that's where the restrooms are. And there's additional restrooms outside. If you keep going past the restrooms that are there, you can actually go outside this building, and then there's some restrooms outside the building as well. So if there's a line or anything like that, free to go there. Lunch. So we are having lunch today. That's the good news. It's tacos. There's a vegetarian option as well. That's going to be served outside. There's a nice little grassy shaded area with tables and chairs, and you'll be able to eat. We'll have a full hour, give or take. There will be a really long line. I'll let you know now. It's just going to, a lot of people and only so many people cooking. We have some water. There should be some water along that wall right there. And we have additional water too, so when we run out, we have more. We also have water outside. We'll try to keep it as cold as possible, but my guess is by the end of the day, it'll be room temperature. And then trash. So there's some trash cans throughout. We have some additional trash bags we'll bring out for lunch. Just try to be really courteous. Clean up after yourselves. This is not our house. This is somebody else's. It's a real business, and we're kind of imposing on them. They actually have people working today doing customer support 24/7. So I suggest going to MGO's website and learning all about it. In fact, in your bags today, there's a little code for a free viewing of a movie or TV show. So learn more about MGO and be respectful of them because they let us have this great venue. And finally, so we have a hashtag up there. If you're going to post anything today, just hashtag DFLA. That's for DevFest Los Angeles. We're the only DevFest happening in LA, so it's us. You don't have to worry about conflict or anything like that. Okay, so next. You do not need to get your phones out if you don't want to, because on that same little slip of paper in your bags is the URL for our big raffle that we're doing at the end of today. But I put it up here because everyone always says, oh, you need to have a QR code. So if you want to get your phones out and stand up and take the pictures, feel free. I'll leave it up for a couple minutes. But you have the goo.gl link in your bags, just FYI. So General Assembly has donated, it's actually I think $13,500, but I rounded down, a $13,000 valued scholarship for a new program that they have that's coming out called Android Immersive Course. There's the link to fill out the raffle form. It's just name and email. I'm not asking anything else. They will get your info though, because that's the only way you can win. So just FYI, there's the URL, there's the QR code, and it is in your bag again. It looks like a really great course. It's actually like a school. It's like a real thing with hands-on instructors in person and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in learning Android, you will know it at the end of that course. I'll leave it up for another second or two. And when the phones go down, then I'll move on. Let me know when you're ready. Okay? Yeah? Good. Okay. All right. So this is our agenda. I'm going to bring it up again at the end. So I'll leave it up for a little bit now, but I will bring it up again. Some of the speakers are seeing this for the first time too. Things tend to adjust. Someone might go a little longer. Someone might go a little less time. Someone might say, I need to leave early if it's a speaker, and we'll say, okay, we'll figure it out. So just be aware, if there's any adjustments, we'll announce them. If the food comes late or early, we might make adjustments there too. So besides lunch at 12, we also have a snack at 2:50, and that's from one of our sponsors. You might have seen Tart Yogurt. They're bringing us free yogurt with spoons too. And so we're going to be able to eat yogurt, not just have it, at 2:50. So we'll take a break then. Each talk should be less than the full hour as well, so there will be time to walk from one location to another. If you need to switch locations, you need to go to the restroom, you need to get some water, you just need to go outside and get some fresh air, there will be time to do that. So this is the proposed agenda. Again, there's always a slight chance it might change. And location. So this is what we call the auditorium. This is our big venue. This unusual structure here to your right, my left, is breakout A. So it's actually a conference room. It just has a really weird shell on the outside. Don't worry, it's perfectly normal on the inside. And then breakout B is actually in the back corner, right behind you all the way in the back. There's a conference room there. Now, if we start a session and it's like, oh my gosh, this one session over here is like got people flowing out the door, and that other session over there is empty, we might end up switching a little for the breakout rooms. We could also take something outside if we don't necessarily need a lot of audio-visual technical support. We have the little projector, so we'll see how things go. But this is the proposed schedule for now. I'd say the only thing that's definitely solid is the auditorium. And everything else might switch around depending on what people are interested in. Okay. So a little about GDG. There's a lot of new faces here. My name's Matt, by the way. I'm the one that's been posting stuff online and probably not providing enough information in a timely fashion. So feel free to blame me if you didn't know something. But GDG stands for Google Developer Group. I'm one of our organizers. We have Gerard over here, another organizer, and Paul over there, an organizer. And we have a bunch of volunteers running throughout today, too. We don't necessarily look like we're an organizer or a volunteer. So it's going to be hard if you have a question, you're just going to have to look for someone with this shirt, or look like someone with some other GDG shirt, or just ask anybody. It can't hurt to meet someone new and ask them a question. But what we are, again, it's Google Developer Groups, and we're an independent community organization. We do have the word Google in the name, but we're not Google employees. None of us work for Google. We don't get paid by Google. We often get sponsorship funds for Google, so like this event. And there are people who work at Google in the developer relations department that kind of help us put on these events. So they'll give us slides, they'll help us with the sponsorship funds and stuff like that, but it's a totally separate organization. And what we do is basically we just talk about technology. We are all interested in various Google products and technologies and new things that are coming out, and so we try to meet once a month and have 1 or 2 talks during those meetups and learn new stuff. And it's a very friendly environment. There's a worldwide list of chapters for these GDGs, and actually once or twice a year a lot of us get together up in Mountain View, and so we'll meet the GDG organizers from various other countries around the world, and also through the US. And so you can see here right now it says there's 98 active chapters. I think it's actually 114, but I just pulled this earlier, so who knows. In the past 6 months alone there's been 523 events. And that must be the number of attendees down below that got cut off, 3,163, 7, something like that. Oh no, I'm off by 1. Feel free to correct me anytime. So it's 98 countries, 523 chapters, 3,167 events. You can tell I didn't prepare. So it was way higher than I had just said. And it's really neat, actually. So even though these people live somewhere else, they're in a totally different time zone, they're around the world, we'll communicate online. They'll post a question, hey, does anyone know how to do XYZ? Or does anyone have slides for a talk on Android? And we'll respond, and we communicate back and forth. And even though we sometimes don't meet, or we meet only once a year, we're essentially part of this bigger community. So it's really nice. We all are kind of friendly. And in fact, we have this mission statement, or kind of like rules of conduct that apply for today, for all of our events. I know this one's going to be hard to read. And I won't read it to you, but I'll summarize it. So in general, we want this to be a safe community where people feel comfortable asking questions. It doesn't matter whether you've been writing code for 50 years or if you don't even know how to write code, you're welcome here. We want to be nice, so feel free to ask questions. When we go to our annual events, the rule is that you're not allowed to say no. You're allowed to say yes and, but you're not allowed to say no. And so the same applies today. There's no bad ideas, only good ideas. We try to be respectful and constructive and be collaborative. And then, of course, participate. There's nothing worse than when I'm up here speaking and someone's like sleeping in the back. That's just, upsetting. So participate. We all benefit when we all participate. We get new ideas. We find out new things. Here's a map, and the Maps API kind of condenses stuff after you have too many dots on there, too many pins. So it's hard to tell actually how many events are going on, but this is just DevFest events. You can see this online as well. So we got about 114, I think, DevFest events going on around the world. between September and November. That's what we call DevFest season. And so we're not alone. In fact, today there's another one going on in Virginia or something like that. I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere far enough that we had to kind of divvy up the resources of who would go where. And so we're really lucky being on the West Coast. We're close to Mountain View, so we got actual Google employees here. We have 4 GDEs here. So GDE stands for Google Developer Expert, which is a program that you have to get nominated into. You can't even just sign up. You have to get nominated as being an expert by another expert. And so we're really lucky that we have those folks here today. And like I said, it's part of this bigger series of events that are going on. And so some of the material that we're doing here today is actually also being done elsewhere around the world. Again, there might be time zone differences, but it's kind of neat that we're basically participating in one big event. There we go. So our event's a little more special too, not just because we're on the West Coast, but we're in Los Angeles, Culver City. We're in Los Angeles County, we'll say, because Culver City is technically not Los Angeles. And what's really interesting about Los Angeles is we have a lot of schools. They're alphabetical, okay? They're alphabetical. I went through very carefully last night and made sure they were originally not alphabetical because I took it from some other site and I was like, oh, I gotta make this alphabetical. So I'm sorry if you're not in the order you want it to be in. Totally alphabetical, okay? I'm wearing neutral colors. We're not taking any preferences today. We have a lot of students from all over the city too, so let's tone down on football. But it makes us very special because we have so many universities. And where there are universities, there are students who are going to need jobs. And where there are students who are going to need jobs, there tend to be employers that are then looking to hire those people. And so LA is really special that way. There's other cities around the world that obviously have a lot of universities too. Boston, the Bay Area, which is obviously very wide and long. But LA is special because we have so many universities here. We have a lot of CS programs. And in fact, the Los Angeles metropolitan area, Southern California-ish, is the second largest STEM employment pool, STEM being science, technology, engineering, and math. So most people don't think about that when they think of LA. If you ask someone around the world, oh, what do you think of when you think of LA? They're going to say Hollywood or the beach, something like that. But there's this whole world of science and technology that's in LA, and we're the ones that are on the freeways every morning, causing traffic. And people don't know why there's so much traffic. It's because there's so many people working in science and technology in LA, and we're all driving to get to work. Or come home from work, whatever it may be. And so that, again, makes us really special. And this is not some hidden fact. If you ask people at Google, they'll be like, oh yeah, we know that. Even though they're in the Bay Area, and obviously the Bay Area has a lot of technology, they are well aware that the Los Angeles metropolitan area is basically right next door to them, and that there's this huge pool of technology folks here. So that makes us really special too. So really give yourselves a round of applause because you're part of this community. And we're lucky. LA, we tend to be a little better in terms of economy and stuff like that. And part of that is this. Even going back decades, aerospace was here, all that. So Southern California, we're very lucky. We don't deal with snow. We do deal with traffic and air, but we got a lot of good jobs. So as developers, what we tend to do when it comes to actually doing our jobs, we do a lot of research. We do a lot of design. We do a lot of testing, implementation, deployment, that type of stuff. But really what it comes down to, what we're doing is we're solving problems. That's what we like to do. We like to figure stuff out. We like to tinker. We like to hack a little. We like to build. That's kind of what we do. And what's nice about solving problems is there's usually a solution that we can come up with. And sometimes that solution is not possible today, but we know it will be possible. We just have to wait. We have to wait for the computing power to catch up. We have to wait for someone else to figure out this other little bit so that way we can then do our bit. But we don't really ever stop. And I've worked on projects where I hit a roadblock and I say, oh, I can't move on. And then a couple months later I'll come back and I'm like, okay, now I can move a little further. A couple months later I come back and now I can move a little further because someone else is working on some code somewhere, uploading it to GitHub, and then I can use it. And so anything is possible. As developers, everything is possible. We can solve the problem. We just sometimes have to wait a little. It's just a matter of time or money. And what's great about that is that the world is full of problems. It's an endless supply of problems for us to solve. So in a way, the world is really made for us developers. Because it's our playground. You walk out this door, you can find a problem, start working on it, and hopefully come up with a solution. Some of those problems are small, like graffiti, and other ones are huge, like war or famine or anything else on this list, drought, etc. But the world's there, they're just waiting for us to solve those problems. Now, some people say that the pen is mightier than the sword. I'm sure you've all heard that expression. It's an old one. And I'm sure that's true. You know, it definitely is. But I say the keyboard is mightier than the pen. And I'm sure everyone here types very quickly. So we could definitely get a lot more done with a keyboard than we can with a pen. My handwriting's terrible, too. So you don't want me to do anything with a pen. And they also say that words are powerful. So everyone's always hears that, oh, words are powerful, you know, hurt people's feelings, things like that. But if words are powerful, then code can create whole new worlds. I mean, the things that people do with code, it's really amazing. And so, as developers, we wield that power. That's ours. We write the code and stuff just happens. We make a whole thing out of nothing. We type some words and boom, now there's something for you to look at. There's something for you to interact with. There's a way for people to communicate around the world or send money or whatever it may be. We do that, which is some words and a keyboard. And so, I'm sure you all know the expression, say it with me, with great power, no, really? Come on, say it with me. With great power comes great responsibility. No one knows Spider-Man, really? Come on. So, it's easy to sit here and say, oh, I want to build the next big thing. I want to be the next Zuckerberg or Twitter or whatever it is. That's easy. Anyone can say, I've got this great idea. I'm going to make a lot of money. But the reality is, it's like 90% of startups fail, sorry to say, and most of those actually failed after getting funding. So they'll get millions of dollars and then they fail. But what's interesting is the people who do end up making millions and billions of dollars, and chances are somebody in here will be one of those people, what do they end up doing with their time and money once they make all that money? And there's a hint on the screen already.
Philanthropy.
What? Philanthropy. That's what they do. They go and they try to donate money to feed hungry people, or they go to Africa to actually help people. And this is a picture chosen at random. I'm not a big fan, but that's what they do. They don't just go back and try to make more money. I'm sure they do, but they go and they try to do stuff with their money. Try to do good. They try to solve the real problems, not the how do I get two farmers who live across the country to meet each other because it's the perfect match. That's not what the ultra billionaires do. They don't care about what is it, farmersomething.com? You know the commercial? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Got you. That's not what they do. They spend their money trying to fix the big problems. So I say to you, don't go try to make it big and be a billionaire. Just skip ahead. Go solve those big problems right now. And my guess is you'll be just as famous for solving a big problem as you would for matchmaking farmers. In fact, I don't know who came up with that website. Obviously that person's not that famous. So I'm sure they're rich, but they're not famous. And if you can't resist, if you say, you know what, I would love to feed those hungry people and put clothes on their back, but I really have this great idea for the next big thing. If you really can't resist, then I encourage you to follow the model of companies like Salesforce.com that from the very beginning say, we're going to donate 1% of our time, 1% of our revenue, 1% of our product to those big causes. And if you start that company that way, it actually helps with morale. Everyone feels like they're part of something, so it actually does end up helping you make a lot of money anyway. But my guess is you'll still come back around someday and try to do good and solve those real problems. So that's my challenge to you today. Don't just listen to these talks trying to think of how you can make it big. Listen to these talks trying to figure out how can we use this to apply to those real problems and actually make a difference in the world. And it can start here local. I mean, we got bad air, we got traffic. You don't have to think about how to solve problems around the world. You can start here with little problems too. So again, here's the agenda. We're going to stay here for our next session. It's going to be a cardboard workshop. Hopefully anyone that has a computer already downloaded everything that needs to be downloaded for cardboard. If not, start downloading now. We have some USB sticks that we can pass around as well, and that maybe will help. I'll leave it up so people can kind of figure it out. And Macy's going to be coming up here. Macy's one of our GDEs, again, Google Developer Expert. And I cannot tell you how fortunate we are, because again, there were 2 events going on today. Macy came all the way from Toronto. Okay, and the other event is on the East Coast. So we're extremely fortunate that she came to us today. That's a long way to go. And she does not get paid by the hour to be here. She basically is kind of volunteering because she's a really nice person and extremely talented too. You can see some of her videos on YouTube. She makes it look really easy, so we're all going to feel bad about ourselves that we can't figure this stuff out. At least that's how I feel usually. but she's going to come up and do this cardboard workshop. So before she begins, we'll give her a minute or two. If anybody again needs to use the restroom, caddy corner, now's a good time to go because we're about to start the next session. Water right there, kind of ish. Any questions before we begin? Yes.
I installed yesterday the software for it, but there was when I tried to test one of the test applications that you give me, some errors were coming. It was saying that something is not present in the namespace or something.
So the question was, she installed the prereqs for Unity and stuff like that, went to go test those 2 links that were to test, and it was giving an error about a namespace. And as I just mentioned, Macy makes this look really easy. I, however, have no idea how to make it work. And she even said it's hard to get it to work, so don't feel bad. She didn't expect people to be able to properly run those tests. She just said if someone can figure it out, even better. But don't worry about it. She'll go through the whole thing.
So I'm just thinking that maybe it's making problems with other...
It could be. It could be. And someone here will probably figure it out. But that person's not me. Sorry. Any other questions? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, again, restrooms over there, water's over there. If anyone wants to go, go now, and I'll stall for a couple more minutes. And that way you won't miss the beginning of the next talk. If you need to get some fresh air, feel free to get fresh air.
It's talk about Cloudspin.
Oh, I didn't talk about Kaufman. Where are they located?
One second.
Okay, one more thing. Where are they located, though?
So Cloudspin is in the back left-hand corner.
So we have some Googlers here today with an amazing, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a tool, but amazing, I wouldn't call it a product either. Amazing thing. It's kind of, basically everyone's seen those commercials in movies. Why isn't it coming? It's on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta put the word cloud, there it is, okay. So we have this here today. Again, West Coast, near Mountain View.
We're not seeing this.
We're not seeing it?
No.
Oh, you're not seeing that.
On the phone.
Yeah, I got it. I do this every day, and I make that mistake every day. Here we go. So we are extremely lucky that we're close to Mountain View, and 3 Google employees basically volunteered to come visit us for today. And that was really nice of them to do. There you can see James is actually there. This device, or series of devices, is here today. So we'll be able to play with it. You won't be able to play with it yourself, but they'll play with it while you're standing right in front of them. Because it's like really expensive and complicated. And yeah. So it's kind of like in the Gap commercials or the Matrix or any movie. You know, basically it's a series of cameras that are synchronized so that you can get this effect of boom, 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 boom. And so you can have an animated GIF there is what that is. So that's here today. So we really lucked out. Too bad for Virginia. My bad, you know. They could have asked us when we were scheduling it and worked it out, but whatever. So yeah, so definitely check that out. That's near the restrooms, past the restrooms. Past the restrooms, check that out. They'll also be giving a talk about stuff like that too, but there should be plenty of time for everybody to go over there and jump up or do something funny. And if you post it, just remember DFLA.